Name at birth. Norma Jeane Mortenson, born June 1st, 1926, Los Angeles, California. Died likely late night August 4th, 1962. Found August 5, 1962, Los Angeles, California. 1. Early life and childhood. Marilyn Monroe entered the world as Norma Jeane Mortenson, though she would later be baptized as Norma Jean Baker. She was born in Los Angeles to Gladys Pearl Baker, a film cutter who suffered from chronic mental illness. Her mother was institutionalized multiple times. Marilyn never knew her father, until modern science finally answered that mystery. In 2022, a DNA test confirmed that her biological father was Charles Stanley Gifford, a co-worker of her mother's. Although long suspected, this wasn't verified during Marilyn's lifetime. She died not knowing the truth of her paternal origins. Her childhood was difficult and unstable. With her mother unable to care for her, Marilyn bounced between foster homes, orphanages, and temporary guardians. She endured periods of abuse and neglect, which left emotional scars and seeded lifelong issues with abandonment, self-worth, and trust. At age 16, to avoid being returned to the orphanage system, she married her neighbor James Doherty in 1942. Though the marriage was short-lived, it gave her temporary stability and marked the start of her transformation into something bigger than she could have imagined. 2. Modeling career and Hollywood breakthrough. While working at a wartime factory, Monroe was discovered by a photographer. Her beauty and charm quickly launched her into the world of modeling. She became a popular pin-up girl and appeared in numerous advertisements and magazine covers. This exposure led her to Hollywood. In 1946, she signed a contract with 20th Century Fox. At the studio's suggestion, she changed her name to Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn, after stage actress Marilyn Miller, and Monroe, from her mother's maiden name. She dyed her hair platinum blonde and began building the image that would make her famous, a blend of innocence, sensuality, and vulnerability. 3. Rise to stardom. Monroe's early film roles were small, but her magnetism on screen was undeniable. By 1950, parts in The Asphalt Jungle and All About Eve earned her critical attention. Her breakthrough came with leading roles in blockbuster comedies like Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, How to Marry a Millionaire, The 7-Year Itch, Some Like It Hot, for which she won a Golden Globe for Best Actress. Marilyn became one of the most bankable stars in Hollywood, known for her sultry voice, comedic timing, and signature style. Yet, despite her, because of her image as a dumb blonde, she struggled to be taken seriously as an actress. She eventually studied at the Actors Studio in New York to hone her craft, trying to move beyond the roles that made her famous. For personal life and relationships, Monroe's personal life was just as high profile as her film career. She was married 3 times. James Doherty, her teenage marriage, Joe DiMaggio, the legendary baseball player. Their marriage lasted just 9 months, but they remained connected until her death. Arthur Miller, Pulitzer Prize-winning playwright. Their marriage was intellectual, but ultimately strained. She also had rumored affairs with President John F. Kennedy and possibly his brother Robert F. Kennedy, contributing to the mystique and controversies surrounding her legacy. Behind her glamorous facade was a deeply insecure and sensitive woman, seeking real connection in a world that often only saw her body, not her soul. 5. Struggles with mental health and addiction. Monroe battled with anxiety, depression, and substance dependence for most of her adult life. Prescription medications, especially barbiturates and tranquilizers, were widely used in Hollywood at the time and often overprescribed. She was frequently late to film sets, struggled with insomnia, and sometimes forgot her lines. Directors and co-stars found her difficult, yet many acknowledged her brilliance and raw emotional power once the cameras rolled. 6. Final years and tragic death in 1962. Monroe was filming Something's Got to Give when she was fired for repeated absences. Days before her death, she was rehired, and it appeared she might be turning things around. But on the night of August 4th, 1962, she died in her Brentwood home. She was found the morning of August 5th by her housekeeper. The cause of death was listed as an overdose of barbiturates, a probable suicide. The timing and circumstances of her death, combined with her ties to the Kennedy family and shifting stories from people close to her, have led to decades of speculation and conspiracy theories. Some believe foul play was involved. Others think it was an accidental overdose. No definitive answer, has ever been confirmed.
Lasting legacy.
Though Marilyn Monroe lived just 36 years, her legacy is vast and enduring. She was one of Hollywood's most iconic actresses, often ranked alongside the greats, a symbol of feminine power and vulnerability. Often misunderstood, a cultural icon whose image remains globally recognized, a trailblazer who started her own production company in a male-dominated era. A woman of depth and contradiction, balancing fame, trauma, and a desire for authenticity. Her influence spans decades, impacting film, fashion, feminism, and pop culture. Artists from Andy Warhol to Madonna to Lana Del Rey have drawn on her style and mystique. Conclusion: Marilyn Monroe wasn't just a movie star. She was a survivor, an innovator, and a woman caught between myth and reality. Her story of beauty, brilliance, heartbreak, and fame still resonates with millions. While the world saw her as the ultimate fantasy, she longed simply to be seen and understood. In death, perhaps more than in life, Marilyn Monroe has become a symbol not just of glamour, but of the fragility that often hides behind it.